Look at this. Oh my gosh. Get a bait. Oh my gosh, look at that. He's all over him. As tarpon guides, to go out there and we see this hammerhead, we see these attacks, and kind of in the back of your mind, you're kind of like, you know what? I'd like to catch that guy one time, right? Well, we've done it one time and it was so much fun we wanted to do it again. Now that, my son, is a fish. Look, here he is, here he is. Big hammerhead. He just ate it, he just ate it. Look at him. That is a big fish, man. Oh, yeah. Come on. Oh, he ate it, he ate it. He ate it. Nice, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I got him, relax. Oh, dude, he just ripped my boat off. Oh, awesome, look at that big boy. Woo.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, with Captain Tom Rowland and Captain Rich Tudor.
So that was an awesome season we had with the tarpon and stuff down at Bahia Honda. And the one thing that really amazed me down there is the size of those hammerheads that were down there eating those tarpon. What I thought was kind of different about that situation is that apparently those fish are getting fished. They're definitely encountering some pressure. There's a lot of people down there fishing for them. When we were out there, on other trips that we've done where we've gone out and tried to catch the hammerhead, we're the only one fishing for them. And it didn't really seem to be the case down there. I think people are definitely fishing for those things at Bahia Honda more so than at other places. Well, we had been fishing down there earlier in the week. We'd had some incredible tarpon fishing. I mean, that was mid-May when there was just stacked with tarpon by the thousands upon thousands in there, rolling everywhere. And we were catching those fish, and we were hearing other boats talk about it. I got one eaten by the hammerhead, especially on that outgoing tide. It seemed like for whatever reason that seemed to be when they were biting, or the hammerheads moved in. But we had that one big tarpon on. We got pushed way out at the end of the day, past the old bridge, out into the ocean. Had actually let that big tarpon go, and then here comes this giant hammerhead.
We spent a lot of time, certainly hadn't spent time together there, and then they bite,
We knew that was a potential challenge, and so we had really, cranked the drag down, using heavier pound tests than we normally do, using heavier leaders than we normally do. But boy, that one just took us out to where the hammerhead was.
That was the biggest hammerhead I've ever seen. He was huge.
Look at this. Oh my gosh. Get a bait.
I'm getting a bait.
Oh my gosh, look at that. He's all over him. Here's a bait. You want a bait?
I got a bait. I got something.
We tried to, bait him up real quick and try to catch that hammerhead, but we didn't have the right stuff. We didn't have the right chum. We didn't have the rigs ready to go, and we just weren't prepared. So, we decided, you know what? Tomorrow, let's go try to catch that guy. I mean, it was so exciting. We'd never shark fished at Bahia Honda. We'd always heard rumors about these giant sharks down there, but that one was a monster. And the next morning, we got up. We scored as many carcasses as we could get. We got a bunch of dolphin carcasses from the offshore guys, loaded up our big coolers, and headed down to Bahia Honda. What kind of wire are you? Is it 15 wire?
15, heavy.
So maybe have one with 15, one with 12. Okay, so finicky hunter, do you think, or want to go both 15?
Yeah, that'd be good. I do believe in going ugly early, but we might only get one shot at it.
Got about a 20-foot wind-on leader, 400-pound.
That is as big a hammerhead as I've ever seen before. So we've got to really get ready. So I mean, when we
I remember that night you were like, dude, do we have tackle big enough? I specifically, after we got done that next day, I ran down to Worldwide and got spooled up Santiago reels with 150-pound braid. And that morning we were there at Bahia Honda sitting at the ramp. And I remember, we just wanted to make sure it was right, because you're only going to get one shot at a fish that big, and if there's one weak link, he's going to find it. Hopefully that big boy's not filled up.
He's got plenty to eat out there.
You want to go heavy early. That's what I think. You want to try to, if you get that first bite, you want to try to make that thing count. So, we went out there with a really heavy rig.
We can go start setting up just on the other side of the bridge. It's going to be rough over there, but that may be the spot.
I would think, from what we've done before and what I've seen, I know we've never fished here for the sharks, but I would think that they're patrolling the back side of that bridge, and maybe if we just did a drift, just drift down the bridge.
Wouldn't be any problem drifting down the bridge.
I mean, good conditions.
All right, let's go through there and see what we can do.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That is enormous.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you in part by Hawks Cay, the only key you'll need. By Yellowfin, only in a Yellowfin. The Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. Vicious, get vicious. And by Power Pole. And Buff.
You guys are catching fish right here. Maybe there's one swimming around. If I was a hammerhead, this is where I'd live. The only times I've ever caught them or seen the hammerheads is slack tide right at the bridge, and then on the down tide sides of all the tarpon when the tide's moving hard.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that there's a 1,000-pound fish around here somewhere, and we just don't know where he's at, you know?
There's multiples.
Yeah. Somewhere in this little zone.
There he is. We know he's here, we've seen him.
We start getting out there chumming, you know, getting a lot of dolphin carcasses, getting them in the water, draining the blood from the cooler, and actually making some passes downstream of where the tarpon are to maybe be able to bring one of these big hammerheads in, just like a boat was fighting a tarpon out there. And it was taking some time. You know, it wasn't like we got out there like the first time we ever caught one of those hammerheads. We go out there, we see the giant dorsal fin sticking out of the water as soon as we get there. This wasn't quite like that, you know. Even though there had been a tremendous number of attacks the day before, we get out there, we're not seeing them.
What is that?
It's a giant nurse shark.
Really? For sure?
Pretty sure. It's gonna be right here. If it's a nurse, it's light colored. He's right here under the boat. He's gonna come up. Yeah, it's a nurse shark, and he's gonna eat our chum.
Definitely a nurse?
Yeah. He's gonna eat our chum. Let him have some of it. And make a big mess. Action brings action, right?
Those giant fish, you don't know where they are. It's a real mystery, and we had the right chum. I remember, you know, you wanted to go with a little lighter rig, so you put on the, I think it was number 10 wire and a little smaller hook, you know, a little shorter rig. I went with a little heavier setup, so we had one a little heavier, one a little lighter, and we were ready to go, you know, just trying to just be where the people are catching the tarpon. So we just kind of drifted down tide, downwind of where the people were landing those tarpon.
Well, the trick too is just being absolutely 100% ready, because the thing's gonna happen fast.
Get on the down tide. There he is, there he is, there he is! Come on, Rich. Here comes that shark. He comes up right on the bait, right on the bait, and then he turned off.
Yeah.
And we know what that made me realize? Is how lucky we were.
You got that right.
The first time, the second time.
First time we ever tried it. We go to Long Key Bridge, and we're kind of wondering, well, will we ever see something? You know, will this ever happen on a day we're actually trying to target it? I mean, we go out there and stop at the bridge, and the dorsal fin is already up.
There he was.
Big hammerhead, big hammerhead.
There he is, right there on the surface, right there, big hammerhead.
You know, just throw in one of the cuda fillets. You know, we had a big cuda. We had filleted down one side, we filleted down the other, and we had 2 baits ready, and I just dropped it back there, and immediately I'm hooked up.
Oh, there's two. Okay, he just picked me up. Something picked me up. Okay, I got it.
You got him hooked up?
I'm hooked.
Let him eat it a long time. Got him?
Hooked up? We gotta go under the bridge, man.
Hooked up?
Yep.
What was interesting about that is we started fighting that fish. You got him on, you know, we never even had the anchor out. I mean, we just start chasing this fish with the school.
Right.
But I left the chum out. I left the barracuda carcass out at the side of the boat, just hanging while you were fighting your fish, thinking maybe that'll attract some more. And what was that right on that? We got another one circling the boat, bigger than this one.
It's right under him. It's right under him.
Look at that right there.
I've got another rod. I can go with this other rod.
I don't
don't know, that's a good idea, Tom.
I remember this is what was amazing to me. It was windy. We started drifting away from the bridge. You're fighting this one that's, 300, 400 pounds, I don't know, big. And then I'm looking back there and I saw 2, if not 3 more fish. They all dwarfed that one in size.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 more back there. There's 2 more. Look at them, both of them right behind the boat. Look at this, unbelievable, man.
Hey, I got this one.
Okay, set the hook on him. I'm gonna cut this one off.
And so we've got this big shark next to the boat. You've got it. I've already got the gear on, so throw it right in there, and then Mr. Big gets it.
Oh, that's a monster one, Tom. Let him eat it long. Or set it when you got it.
2 of them, 2 of them.
Fighting over it. You got that big one, you got the big one. You've definitely got the big one going.
One of the lifetime memories for me that I will never forget is working together really well as a team. I've got this big shark on. Tide is rushing out, and we have a 13.5-foot hammerhead on. We've got a 24-foot boat. The shark just keeps taking us to the bridge, taking us to the bridge. The current is racing through there, and we decide, okay, that's the span we're going through.
Going reverse. Look at him in the water. Oh my God, look at him right there.
And there was a make it or break it moment to where I'm pulling as hard as I can, you grab the leader, you pull, and the shark and the boat and everything just goes whoop, right through the same span. But that one was where we worked together as a team better than we ever have and did something that neither one of us had ever done before.
Yeah, we got clear, man.
I can't believe it, man. I had nightmares.
We're okay.
And the end result is that we get that fish to the boat, measure that thing out. It was 13.5 feet long, and definitely by far the biggest thing of any species, deep water, shallow water, anything that I had ever caught before.
I'm holding on to the giant hammerhead. There he goes. See ya, big boy.
Woo! God, that was awesome. I mean, that was awesome, man. That was like the biggest fish in the ocean.
Unbelievable.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you in part by Yeti Coolers, built for the wild. By Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Quantum Rods and Reels, fishing at a quantum level. By Loadmaster. And Costa.
The whole reason that the hammerhead is even here, is because of the tarpon migration. These fish are just pouring into these locations, whether it's Key West Harbor, Bahia Honda, Long Key, Government Cut, Boca Grande, where you have a massive concentration of tarpon, and these big, giant alpha predators, the giant hammerhead shark, is coming in specifically to eat these fish. And here in this situation with Bahia Honda, we were just there the night before.
We knew he was there.
We're talking about less than 12 hours ago. We had him next to the boat.
Look at this. Oh my gosh. Get a bait.
I'm getting a bait. I'm getting a bait.
Oh my gosh, look at that. He's all over him. Here's a bait. You want a bait?
I got a bait. I got something.
Those attacks can be some of the most memorable things. I mean, I remember we took my dad and your dad out there, man. My dad was like, he freaked out. When the fish came up and a hammerhead comes and attacks the biggest thing that you've ever caught in your life, that has a tendency to shake someone, to their core.
No, I can't imagine. Hammerhead's all over him. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll try to get him away.
He got him.
No, he hasn't got him yet. 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 Bring it in here.
Tip low under the bow.
Bring that fish over here. That's right.
Look at that, oh my goodness.
And so we have a big shark attack my dad's fish, and similar thing. We decide the next day we're gonna go back there and try to catch those things, and and were successful. You got your big one that day.
Yeah, it's the same scenario happened. It was the outgoing tide. Never saw a hammerhead, never heard of anybody getting a bite. You know, we were like kind of thinking about giving up. Luckily, we had enough chum to wade it through to the outgoing. You know, an hour or so into that outgoing tide, people started hooking tarpon. We strategically followed the guy that was hooked up with a tarpon.
Yep.
Because there is no better chum than a live tarpon. Those hammerheads are there to eat those tarpon, and so that was the same thing that happened when I caught mine. As soon as somebody had hooked up with a fish, we just went down tide of where they were at, figuring that the stress of that tarpon was chumming in the sharks. And next thing you know, there he came.
Look, here he is, here he is! Big hammerhead! He just ate it, he just ate it! Got him, baby, got him! Got him, big hammerhead! We were just about to give up hope.
You know, it's pretty cool because we'd done it together. I'd seen you fight that fish. You know, I learned some things. You know, one is it's all about the drag. You need a tight enough drag to where when it's time, you can put the heat on them and turn that fish, make them, you know, get tired. But also, you need to be able to back that drag off when you're fighting them, when he gets around the boat and other things like that, so you don't, you know, kill yourself or get yourself pulled out.
Oh man, look at that thing!
Dude, that thing's
He's coming right up to the
huge.
surface.
It's huge.
Oh, look at that big boy. Look at him. That is a big fish, man.
Man, that's pretty incredible.
That's a big fish,
We're sitting
man.
here in 12 feet of water, catching a 1,000-pound fish.
And when we got that fish up there, I mean, you know, I didn't think he was as big as the one you caught, but I'll tell you what, when those fish get to the side of the boat and they roll over on their side,
Yep.
it's all of a sudden, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
You know, you see the girth on that.
Yeah.
And when he rolled over, I'm like, wow, that is definitely the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is enormous.
There are very few opportunities for, you know, someone to look into the eyeball this far away from that fish, apex predator like that, and you know, you just realize, you know, how lucky you are to be able to even see one of those things, or much less to catch one and hold on to it for a few seconds. And it's cool to watch them swim away, and you know, we can see them again next year.
The coolest moment for me was holding his dorsal fin, you know, and just after we let go of the tail rope and everything like that, just holding his dorsal fin and then just letting him go and watching that big, giant, massive fish that I was holding by the dorsal just swim away.
Yeah.
There he goes. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Nice job.
Yeah! There he goes. Look at that big dude. Woohoo!
Awesome.
We did it, man.
That was good.
Wow.
Yeti coolers are so popular now that a lot of people don't realize that the inspiration for the Yeti cooler was right here on the flats of the Florida Keys. One of the big problems that we used to have was finding a cooler that we could put in front of the console, stand on when we're fishing, and not have the lid collapse over time. When somebody's riding on the cooler in the rough water, it would just crater a regular cooler. Well, that was the inspiration for Yeti, and while they were at it, they came up with unbelievable quality and made a cooler that'll hold ice for days. Well, now Yeti's come out with something new, and this is something I'm really excited about because, you know, my kids are into sports, and sometimes it's hard to take a giant, you know, 100-quart Yeti, 105-quart Yeti to the ball field. So we're always trying to take a soft cooler or something else. Yeti's come out with a new hopper. This is the Hopper 30, and it's a soft cooler, but it's not just like any other soft cooler. This is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. First of all, the problem that I'm having with a lot of soft coolers is that they leak. They're leaking out the bottom, they're leaking out the zipper, they're leaking everywhere, and you put it in the back seat, and next thing you know, you got water everywhere. Well, this one has this new zipper. It's really amazing. It'll hold ice like a regular Yeti for days, but if, you know, after a while, ice is gonna melt in any kind of cooler, and when we put water in this thing, fill that up with water, close it up, and man, no matter what happens, this thing turns over in the back seat of your car, whatever happens, totally waterproof, and it'll hold ice for days. I love the Yeti hopper. Check it out at yeti.com.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you in part by True Flies, life off the chart. By Mercury Marine, #1 on the water. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. And by MotorGuide. And Fraybill.
You want to see more saltwater experience? Go to saltwaterexperience.com for exclusive web content. We've got how-to videos, behind-the-scenes footage, and things you've never seen on TV. Go to saltwaterexperience.com now. Get on down tide. There he is, there he is, there he is!
Come on, Rich.
The tide started going out at Bahia Honda. We knew that's when that guy showed up before. We waited out to the same point of the tide. You know, all the things that could have gone wrong. And the simplest thing is, you know what went wrong there? He just didn't bite.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe it's the bait we were using, maybe whatever. But I mean, it's like with any type of fishing. There's not a fish in the world that you can go catch every single day. And the hammerhead, you know, they don't get to be 1,000 pounds because they're just really dumb. They get to be that big because they're a smart fish, they're wary. But that's what really gets you to really get passionate about some kind of fishing. Like for me, it's permit fishing. Well, permit fishing is a fish that you go out there and most times you don't catch them. Yeah, it's a disappointment that we go through all that trouble not to catch one, but what it does for me is it's like, okay, now we have a worthy adversary here. Now we got to figure out what we need to do. Do we need to scale down? Do we need to use different bait? Do we need to be out there at a different time? And I guarantee you that's not the last time that we go out there and try to catch those things, because the hammerhead, that to me is, when I think about any fish I could catch, that's right up there at the very, very, very tip top of what we could possibly do in our little world of Florida Keys shallow water fishing. He is king of the pile.